I'm a tattoo artist and a piercer. I was always kind of like this weird kid that would never pay attention in class and was drawing and doodling on textbooks and stuff. I always knew I wanted to do something related to art, I just didn't know what. And so in high school, I watched a couple movies. Pan's Labyrinth was one that inspired me, and I got into doing makeup because of it, right? So I started working really young and just dabbling in like different sorts of art. I felt like I was just promoting products and kind of an unhealthy lifestyle and perception on bodies and all this bullshit, right? When I got into it, it was like during the phase of the Kardashians being super popular, so everybody wanted to look the same and like copy paste the looks basically. And so I got kind of bored. For a creative person to keep doing the same thing is like, so I had to find like another thing that could work, right? A friend of mine spoke about her going into animation. That's what I ended up doing too. I was like, let me just try it out. So I went into City U, studied it for like 3 years, and got out and tried to like do freelancing work basically, still doing makeup and doing some animation. And I still felt really unfulfilled. Like what I didn't want in my life was like an office job sitting behind a desk and just, and animation is very much like that. So I knew like what I liked about animation was the drawing. I mostly worked with 2D. With regards to makeup, I liked the feeling of making people feel beautiful and feel complete and fulfilled and confident in some way. So basically, when I was doing my final year project, I created this character and I fell in love with her. I decided I wanted to get her tattooed on me, which is the piece I have on my wrist. It was kind of like an epiphany. Under the needle, I was just like thinking that this art form kind of ties in everything that I love about both the industries I worked in. And it seems like it would be more fulfilling in terms of like a meaning in my life, a meaning to my work. Because like what could be more meaningful than something that people will wear like for the rest of their lives, right? And like for the most part, people come with bearing like stories and bearing inspirations behind like why they want to carry this forever, right? Yeah, it all kind of hit in that one moment, and I was like, I think this is it. I think finally found it, right? So I started questioning the tattoo artist. I was like, how did you get into this industry? Teach me. It wasn't that easy. I had to like look for an apprenticeship, and being like an Indian girl in Hong Kong who doesn't speak the language, it wasn't super easy. I asked like pretty much every tattoo studio in Hong Kong and got rejected quite a lot. I was very lucky to like end up with my mentor. He taught me for about a year. He didn't really actually speak much English, so for the most part, like it was difficult communicating. And I'm very lucky because my mom and my sister speak Cantonese. So he used to like send me voice notes and then I'd have them translate for me. So it was very unconventional that way, and it took me much longer, I think, to learn and understand everything. But it was all worth it in the end. Yeah, I feel like I found the place that I actually belong. Without him, I wouldn't have even been in the industry, I feel like. I wouldn't have progressed as fast as I did. I wouldn't have even known where to start. Yeah, so I think that would be like, him giving me a shot would be what I'm most grateful for. Positive influences in my life, I've had quite a few, but I would say like majorly my family. Both my mom and my sister are like independent women, you know. My mom is a principal and my sister is a photographer. They kind of paved my perception as to like what I wanted to do and achieve, right? In terms of having that independence, in terms of like trying something new. Because my mom was the first person who kind of paved that, or like, I guess, planted that idea in our heads, because she was like studying her degree at the same time as my sister was. So within the Indian community, it's not that common to see like somebody who's like a high achieving status sort of position, if that makes any sense. She was like the first within her community to be like at a principal level position, right? So I think that was like pretty inspiring to see. My sister got into the creative industry first, and like I think seeing her succeed showed me that I could also succeed. I think my greatest achievement is just like entering the industry. I wouldn't even say it's not common. Like I'm the only Indian tattoo artist in the city, right? So that's already like something stacked against you. Most of the artists here are local. Most of the artists are men. And then most of the artists like obviously learn through speaking Cantonese and stuff. So I think like the odds were kind of stacked against me, and being able to have found all of this and developed it from scratch, that's like the only thing I can say I'm genuinely really proud of myself for in life. I've experienced my fair share of tough times and stuff. In terms of coping with it, I think it's just like recognizing the emotions that come with that and knowing that you're going to get past it eventually, you know, and finding a productive means out of it, if that makes any sense. So like for me, it ended up being art. Like a lot of people have gym, a lot of people let's say have art or like whatever hobby that you find. Try to place your emotion into that instead of something that could harm you, right? You could make those same emotions productive or counterproductive. So I feel like that's one way to end up in a better place because you're working towards something positive at the end of the day, even through the negative emotion. And yeah, I think it's like the kind of mentality that's like, okay, just maybe today you don't feel like getting up, but reward yourself for like tiny tasks and stuff. The main problem that I had before starting tattooing was that like I just felt completely purposeless and I felt like I would never find meaning in my art, in my life, or anything like that. And I feel like the stories of people that I hear and the feeling of fulfillment that they get from getting a tattoo from me, like my whole life has kind of like sorted itself out around that, right? And it's hard for me to even call it a job or a hobby. It's like literally my entire life. I don't do anything other than this pretty much. I've had a lot of like requests from people. I don't like really appreciate some of the inquiries to teach and stuff that I've gotten because it starts making me understand why the industry is so closed. Basically, the reason being like a lot of people who ask me to teach them have no basis in like have never picked up a pencil in their life. Like they haven't drawn, that it's not part of their lifestyle, it's not part of their interest. It's just like maybe they look at tattooing and they think like, oh, it's just something really cool to do, or like I don't know, there's many like different perceptions that people have around this industry, right? Or like the people who reside in this industry. And I think like you have to have more respect for it. You have to understand that it's not like just an easy cash grab. It's actually one of the most difficult things that you're going to do in life if you ever like get into this industry. It has to be a lifestyle. You have to love it, otherwise you will never become successful at it. You have to care about your clients. It's literally like doing a minor surgery on a table. Like, you know, I don't think it should be looked at as like something that's easy or just cool. It needs to be entered with like utmost care, and yeah, you have to take it seriously. Yeah. So if you actually want to enter the industry, I would say like put in the effort, pick up a pencil, draw like a bunch of different like styles, and just show that you're actually interested in the industry, right? Maybe get some tattoos yourself, support some artists, learn more about what they do and see the actual procedure, learn about the healing process, like put in the effort. Don't just like DM someone on Instagram being like, I'm super interested in tattooing, but have no backing to show that you're genuinely interested, you know?